Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, and in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So the movie just came out this past weekend, and I didn't see it over the weekend. So I'm just going to be giving my thoughts on the movie and what I thought about it. Yeah. So as usual, this is going to contain some spoilers for the movie. So you may not want to see this video until you have actually seen the movie if you haven't yet. So when this movie was announced, like when I saw the trailer, like I was like curious to see what they were gonna do with this because, of course, like with like Chadwick Boseman passing away back in 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah, it was. Yeah, when Chadwick Boseman passed away in 2020, I was like wondering like what that would really mean for the future of Black Panther in the MCU, like what they were really going to do with the franchise now with him gone. So I wasn't really too sure like really what they were going to do with it. Yeah. Well, yeah, when the trailer did come out, like I saw it and I figured like what they were gonna do sounded like pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, like they Marvel said that how like they would be writing out T'Challa, and this would be like focusing on another character to be the new Black Panther. So yeah, so so hearing about that, like I was like really curious to really like see what they were really gonna do, like what they were gonna do with this franchise without T'Challa now that Chadwick Boseman is dead. So I was curious to really see what they were going to do with this. And I saw the movie this past weekend, and what they did, I think they did pretty good with it. Yeah. So with this movie, this was really like a pretty different type of Marvel movie than what we usually get. Like this really wasn't the typical Marvel movie with like a whole bunch of action in it. And yeah, with Chadwick Boseman, like of course, like not with us anymore now, with him being written out, like this this really like was not really like a continuation sequel from the first film. Yeah, with this movie, they like really did go like in a totally different direction, and that is really like what they're heading down now. They are really gonna be like heading in a totally different direction, and with like new characters now that Chadwick Boseman is dead. Yeah, and what they did with it, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, like I said, this really wasn't like the typical kind of Marvel movie. Like this really was like pretty different than stuff that we have seen from Marvel before. So this movie really didn't have like a whole ton of action in it. Like we usually get, like there are like fights throughout like the entire film. Like you're like we do get some of it, but yeah, it's not really like chock full of it. Like it really is like done like pretty differently. In this film, like what we get a kind of like a different story that is something that we really haven't seen from Marvel before. At least, and yeah, but the story that this movie has, like this, with Black Panther, this is probably like one of the last character franchises that you would think would have this kind of story in the MCU. Like with the story that this film tells, I mean, you would think that there would be like other characters that really would like be more likely to have this kind of story. But with Black Panther having this kind of story, it's interesting, and it's really not something you would really expect like Black Panther to have out of all Marvel characters that we've gotten in the MCU so far. Yeah. So this really did like take a pretty different turn from earned for Black Panther than what we got in the first film. But yeah, like I said, with Chadwick Boseman now dead and T'Challa being written out, uh, they're now going to be heading in a totally different direction with this series. And it was like interesting what this film really did do. Yeah. So in this film, like with Chadwick Boseman dead, like they of course like just wrote T'Challa out of the film. So I kind of like heard some mixed reactions about like T'Challa not being recast. Yeah, I mean, I've like just heard like people seem like really mixed on this. Like some people are happy about it, others are not very happy about it. So yeah, so I guess it's just gonna be like really contrasting thing, reactions on like how people feel about it. So yeah, so yeah, me personally, I am glad that they decided not to go down the route of recasting and decided to just uh, write T'Challa out of the film. So yeah, I was like for them just writing him out rather than recasting him. I thought it was good for Marvel to really uh not recast him in honor of and out of respect to Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, and what they do in the opening scene of this movie, it really did feel like they really were honoring Chadwick Boseman because in the opening scene of the movie, it shows how the T'Challa character ends up dying too. Yeah, in the opening scene of the movie, it shows how T'Challa is suffering from some sort of illness and he ends up passing away from it. Yeah, and we don't, of course, we don't ever actually see T'Challa on screen like in the opening scene, like when he does die. Like we just see Shuri, his sister, like really trying to really like try to uh cure T'Challa, but yeah, it shows that she is unable to do it, and he ends up passing away. So yeah, and then they hold like a funeral for T'Challa. Yeah, you just see like the casket with the Black Panther uh, symbol engraved on the lid of the casket. Yeah, then you just like see everybody in Wakanda just like honoring him, and you even do see like his picture on like the side of a building or something. Yeah, then it just shows like all the Wakandans just like looking on, honoring him. Like it's just like totally silent. And then yeah, then you just see like a ship approaching, and it just ends up teleporting the casket aboard and carrying it off. Yeah, yeah, and it also showed like the Marvel logo, but like it did in Captain Marvel, like honoring Stan Lee, they did the same thing here with Chadwick Boseman. Like the entire opening logo, like it just like showed clips and images of T'Challa. Yeah, and it was also like the theater was like completely silent for that. So yeah, and even like the music, where like the Marvel logo, like they didn't even put it in. It was just like totally silent, and as they were showing the logo. So yeah, it was nice. It was good that they really did like honor him like that and really respect Chadwick Boseman like that. Yeah, I really did have a feeling that they were going to do that, but yeah, it really it really just seemed like kind of like surreal to just well, it just really did like feel like very different to really like just have it be silence and during the whole thing. Usually with stuff like this, you'd really like expect like theaters to go crazy and cheer and everything, but here the theater really was just like absolutely silent as the logo was being shown. Yeah, so I do like that. Like even like the people in the theater really are like just being totally silent for it. They're not like really cheering. It really is being like respectful by just like being totally silent as that logo was being shown. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but anyway, so the story in this film, it like is set 1 year after T'Challa's death, and it's showing like how like other nations are pressuring Wakanda to share the vibranium, you know, and it shows how like there are some parties that are like trying to steal it by force, but then like Shuri is like implored by the Queen Ramonda to continue on with her research on the heart-shaped herb to try to create like a new Black Panther to defend Wakanda because yeah, without T'Challa, like Wakanda is now without a Black Panther, so they are like pretty defenseless now. Yeah, yeah, but it shows that how Shuri is like refusing because she believes that the Black Panther is a figure of the past. Yeah, yeah. Then eventually, it is shown how like uh Shuri and Okoye learned from a CIA agent that uh who is Everett K. Ross, who yeah, Everett K. Ross really is just like uh like the agent that had previous ties to Wakanda. Yeah, 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 and showing how there is a scientist in question who's a student at MIT named Riri Williams, and it shows that Shuri and Okoye arrive at the university to confront her. Yeah, and then eventually, then they end up being pursued by the FBI and as well as as well as a blue skinned water breathing superhuman Namor. And it shows that how Namor is leading this army of underwater kingdom of Talokan, and it shows how he has protected Talokan for centuries from discovery. Yeah, and it shows how he's a bitter at the surface is for enslaving the Maya, and he's proposing an alliance with Wakanda against the rest of the world. But if Wakanda refuses, then and he would have threatened to destroy Wakanda first. Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much through this movie, really the story is there's this whole stuff with between Wakanda and Telocan. So yeah, so most of the movie really does focus on that stuff, really between Talocan and Wakanda. So really, that's really what this movie here really mainly does consist of, is really just the battle between and the conflict between the two different and nations or kingdoms. Yeah, yeah. Then at one point, then as a Nakia tries to help Shuri and Riri escape being captive from Telecan. Then Namor then had an attack against the capital of Wakanda, and Ramonda saved Riri from drowning, but Ramonda ended up drowning herself, and she ended up being killed. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. Then the citizens of Wakanda then held a funeral for Ramonda as well. Yeah. Then yeah, then eventually then it shows how how Shuri then used a remnant of the herb that gave Namor's people their superhuman abilities. She then reconstructed hid the herb and ended up ingesting it, which then she gained superhuman abilities. And then it also showed that she then saw a vision in the ancestral plane of Killmonger. So yeah, so Killmonger was back in this film as well. Michael B. Jordan did reprise the role. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Michael B. Jordan did reprise the role here, because of course he is kind of busy right now, with Creed 3. So yeah, so I really was kind of surprised that he actually did make an appearance in this film. Yeah. Then he just urged her to seek revenge. And so then eventually then Shuri then donned a new Black Panther suit. Then the Wakandan tribes then accepted her as the new Black Panther. Yeah. But it showed how Mabaku was really just trying to urge for peace, but Shuri was really determined for revenge on Namor for Ramonda's death, and then ordered a counterattack on Talakan. Yeah. And yeah, then it showed how she bestowed the Midnight Angel armor upon Okoye, and then also recruited Anika, who was a Dora member, to join as well. And so then an Iron Man powered exoskeleton was then made by Riri to aid the Wakandans. So yeah, so then And as the Wakandans then ended up luring Namor and his warriors to the surface, then a battle then ensued, and then Shuri then trapped Namor in a fighter plane, and then was intending on drawing him out to weaken him, but then they ended up crashing on a desert beach and ended up fighting. And then as Shuri gained the upper hand, she then realized the similarities between them, and then just implored Namor to yield and offered him a peaceful alliance, which then he then accepted, and then the battle then stopped, and then Namora, Namor's cousin, was upset at the surrender, but then Namor then just ensured that their new alliance will allow them to conquer the surface world. Yeah, yeah. So then, yeah, then and yeah, so then they then made peace with each other, and then uh Riri then returned to MIT, and then Okoye rescued uh Ross from the captivity. Yeah, yeah. Then with Shuri being absent, Mabaku then stepped forward to challenge for the throne, but then Shuri then visited Nakia in Haiti, and she just burned the funeral ceremonial robe in accordance with Ramonda's wishes that allowed her to grieve T'Challa. Yeah, and then that's how the movie then ended. But then then we got this mid credit scene, which is leading to something in the future, which it showed how sure he then saw that Nakia had a son with T'Challa who was named Tusian, and Nakia had been raising him in secret and far from the pressure of the throne. Then he then revealed his Wakandan name as T'Challa. So of course this is setting up for him to take the throne of Black Panther someday. But I'm not really sure how long that's going to be, because it showed that he's still a child right now. So I gotta presume that it is going to be quite a while before we do see a follow up on this, and he ends up taking the throne of Black Panther. So I have a feeling it could be quite a while before we get the next Black Panther movie. Yeah. But with this movie, like I said, it is pretty different from what we have seen before in Marvel, especially in a franchise like this with Black Panther. Yeah, seeing something like this, that's really not something you really think of with Black Panther. You would think of something in the jungle or something, like in Wakanda, similar to the stuff we got in the first film. And this is just a really different take or a different turn with a Black Panther. Yeah, but like I said, now with Chadwick Boseman dead, and now T'Challa being written out by him being killed off. Or I shouldn't really say killed off, but with him also being written dead in the movies now. Now this series is really gonna head in a totally different direction, and this film really did start that up. So I'm not really sure what else will be in store for with Black Panther, but like I said, with his son now being introduced, this is leading to him taking the throne one day. But like I said, I really do think that's really gonna be quite a while before we actually do see anything with that. Yeah. But like I said, this is a pretty different Marvel film than what we have seen before. But it is still interesting to see what they do with it. Yeah, and I really did enjoy it. And plus, with that opening scene, I really did like that they really did actually honor Chadwick Boseman like that. So so it really, and that's really how this movie really did feel a lot. It really did really seem to be they were really honoring Chadwick Boseman throughout the film. So so with all that in mind, while it is a really different from the first film, it is still a really good movie, and I really do give it a recommendation. So if you haven't seen it before, I would definitely recommend it, and because I mean it is Marvel, of course, but it is also like an homage to Chadwick Boseman in a way, and it is still a really good movie. So so definitely check this movie out. All right. So so I guess this is all I really have to say about it. So those are my thoughts on a Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about it. I know this was seemed a little bit of an abridged thoughts video, but I really want to really try to keep it short so I'm not giving away too much. And plus, with the story that it has, it really is kind of a difficult to kind of really go in depth. But hopefully this was good for you guys. And I did an alright job talking about the movie as well as I could. All right. So yeah. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.